everyone, this is CocoaMix. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be going over a set of cards from the neural net today, and I'll be going over my thought process over whether the card is a great submission for Robo Rosewater, or if it's generally not good. This set today was generated using the Everything model, so that includes all flavor text, all reminder text, and most unset cards, and was generated at training level 200 and temperature 1.3. Let's get started with No Name. Blue, black, black for a creature, Conceited Shepherd. It's a 5/4 with flying, vigilance with the correct reminder text, and at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform No Name. Flavor text: Power of Fade is late from riddles, before Urza's, but we are welcome. Overall, not terribly great. I would not consider this. Another no name card. No nothing, just an ins. If we look at the card notes, you can also see there's pretty much nothing there. So something like this usually happens at the end of a generation when the AI runs out of characters to use and then it just doesn't complete a card. So of course this one will not be considered at all. And Loyalty Theft. 1 green and a white for a sorcery with ward. Sacrifice a pair, which has a reminder text. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. So, in the AI community, we normally rule that reminder text overrides real rules, which makes cards like this way more fun. So, I'm not entirely sure actually though how that plays with ward. So if you want to counter this, the ward happens, but sacrifice a pair means look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. So if you want to counter this, you just look at the top 3 cards of your library. Yeah, it's kind of silly. And then look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a forest card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So for 3 mana, you get to rummage for a forest, which is honestly not very good. But the ward with the flavor text is kind of funny. This one I would medium consider for a submission. We might loop back to this one. Arc or Burst. Blue for a 0/0 Air Embodder with Trample, a 0/0 Trample. When Arc or Burst enters the battlefield, you may draw Afted Prevented instead that damage dealt by the sacrificed untapped as you attacked. If it's a creature, Arc or Burst gets +5/+0 and gains Trample and each ability that can't chosen that card used to another permanent. Otherwise, discard a card. These are all real words, but they don't make sense. Goodbye. Banalish Predator. 3 white for a 7/1 artifact creature demon. Affinity for artifacts. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact card in your graveyard. Not on the battlefield. So you could get a 7/1 for 2 if you have enough artifacts in your graveyard. Devoid. This card has no color. That's fine. When Banalish Predator enters the battlefield, you may put target artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library. This is incredibly flavorful. It all works. It's an artifact creature that cares about artifacts in your graveyard and returns artifacts from your graveyard to your library. I say this all works pretty well. 7/1 body that you can get out for 2. Doesn't have any evasion. I think this is perfectly fine. Good card. Collector's Virepilfand. 1 white-blue for an instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of your line curated from it, then put it into a creature non-lasm and put it into your hand. 1. Put devoted cards of the chosen opponent from the revealed cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of your library. Then you may tap it. Then before you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast spells from your graveyard and put it onto the battlefield. You gain 10 cards. No thanks. Nonsense. Sometimes nonsense is good. This nonsense is too much. Normally the nonsense I look for that's funny makes funny sentences or makes up words that sound funny, but when it just runs on like this, the hilarity value significantly drops. So usually like these, when I skim read them, when I'm not reading them live like this, I normally delete them immediately. Corkstor Backstroke. 2 blue-red for a 4/1 legendary human wizard. Creatures with counters on them gain haste. Perfectly doable card. Works within the rules. Not terribly exciting though. I would not pass this. Dwarven Thicketfall. 1 in black for a 2/1 Merfolk Shaman with Saprosk 1. What did the bot define this as? Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays blue. So it's ward blue. Yeah. Sometimes it's fun to see what the AI tries to define as ability, but lots of times it just uses existing reminder text. And the flavor text, these Samaral Avon hates Raf Trisats. Personire like you, Hengruft packing Ioni. Genu into wings was enough sources of their searing ancestrals with knowing line via curations more Sealac. That's a lot of dashes. No, I don't like this card. Fiberglass Priest. Black for a 2/2 Avatar Wizard. Fiberglass Priest perpetually gets -1, -0. So it's just a 1/2. And I'm not even going to care about the flavor text because this card sucks. Funesister. Green for a 1/1 whale. When Funesister enters the battlefield, flip an activated permanent and an opponent controls. This ability triggers only once each turn by Soulseize. What or who is Soulseize? And what is an activated permanent? These are all questions. Stuff like this sometimes is fun to submit to Rosewater and see people's reactions on them. In this case though, flip an activated permanent and an opponent controls, it's not worded quite right to be funny enough. I like where it's going, and if I was allowed to edit this, I would maybe switch around some stuff in here or add some extra words to make it flow or read funnier. But as is, I would not submit this. Invasion. 2 red-white for a sorcery. You may salve all cards exiled your library. All some tears chip in the same Visungings. You may salve all cards exiled your library. No. There's nothing to work with here. That's nothing. Radiant Guardian. 2 blue for a 1/3 human samurai with fear. This creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or black creatures. Got the reminder text correct. And white and Boros for permanents your opponent's control get +1/+0 and have manifested battle. Activate only if exiled in advice. Up each sacrifice this way. Yeah. If it stopped at manifested battle, I would definitely consider this for a submission, because that alone I find interesting. Like, what is manifested battle? What does that mean? Permanent to your opponent's control. So you're giving your your opponent's creatures a buff and they have manifested battle. So you would hope if you try to come up with your own rules, that would be some sort of detriment to them to balance out giving them a buff. But with the following sentence, activate only if exiled in Vice up each sacrifice's way, it ruins it. And finally, Teaching Mindbog Spirit, 2 black for a 4/4 legendary dinosaur zombie with menace and raid. When Teaching enters the battlefield, search your library for a card named Teaching, reveal that card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So you just get to search for copies of this, and it's a 4/4 with menace and nothing else going for it. I think effects like this already exist in the game, not necessarily on a legendary, but I'm pretty sure there are cards that let you search for other cards of the same name. And overall, it's okay. 4/4 menace. You get your black dinosaur. It would be playable in draft, but as a Robo Rosewater submission, I don't think it's great. And that's it for this pack of cards. Obviously, since this was at temperature 1.3, I did expect a lot of nonsense and not much actually coherent stuff. We did find 1 or 2 actual submittable cards, so you might see those on the Twitter sometime soon. Thank you for watching.